we have $6 trillion in Treasuries that come due next month, Jay. $6 trillion that come due next month, and $28 trillion that come due by 2028, with only $15 trillion projected in tax revenue. That gets us half the way there. It doesn't take into account the spending between now and the end of 2028. So, I mean, we are in, it's math. It's all about math. And, you know, it almost, and this is where conspiracy theories are born. It almost makes you think, is he trying to incentivize some sort of a reset? The guy that's the master of the bankruptcy. I'm not saying that that's what he's doing. I'm just saying it doesn't add up. It's not logical. You should come in with the carrot, not the stick, after 4 years of what we've done around the world. It should be more about mending fences rather than playing hardball with these countries. And tariffs, threatening the BRICS nations, are not tariffs. They're sanctions masquerading as tariffs. Tariffs protect the manufacturing industry, not if you don't do this and you pay 140% tariff. That's not how it goes. So you wonder, like, is he trying to push us over the edge here to see that ultimate dumping of treasuries? And you saw what happened last week with the basis trade, where, you know, you have this blowout of the treasury market. At the same time, it's rattling confidence of these countries who are supposed to hold our treasuries when we need them the most. And their net, there's been nothing but selling since 2014. No new buying of treasuries net since 2014. There's been a lot of central banks selling, but some buying, but more selling. And at the time we need them the most, with all this debt coming due, he's certainly rattling the saber maybe a little more than he should. It's no longer really conspiracy. It's certainly the biggest banks in the world it would benefit. It would benefit perhaps even the United States if they are trying to play the long game with gold. Judy Shelton is right, and they're going to peg gold redeemable on 50-year treasuries next July. Then the first thing to do is reshore the gold and slowly let it rise. And it has been rising. And I'll get into one thing on CNBC in a moment. But to give you an example of the vested interest, at least in some of these big banks who are trying to get out of their positions, arguably, when the price of gold fell by $200 an ounce last week or 2 weeks ago, the amount of open interest that was closed out is off the charts. The commercial banks were very short, and the hedge funds were very long, so they dropped the price down, and the open interest fell by 125,737 contracts. You're talking so much gold that was sold and covered billions of dollars worth. And then when they close out those positions, the hedge funds, because the price is getting clobbered at 100 ounces a piece, do the math, it's extraordinary, a huge amount. You end up then seeing those contracts being bought up by the commercial banks who take the other side, and now gold's up over almost $300 since then. It benefits the largest banks in the world who need to get on the other side of this. It benefits all those that have been accumulating it, the central banks. I was working out the other day in the gym, and I was in front of an elliptical machine, which was I was on an elliptical machine in front of a TV with CNBC, and gold's at all-time highs, and they have a ticker that goes by, and underneath it there are boxes that spin. And I saw gold all-time high, at almost $3,300, and it was 47 spins of the box before gold came back up again. I noticed it, and then I started counting it, 47 spins in between gold once, and then bang, and the other spins would be like 10-year Treasury, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, Nikkei, blah, blah. And there's three boxes, and I'm looking, no gold. 47 spins later, there's gold, but in the interim, Bitcoin came up 9 times, or Bitcoin futures. And so, I mean, there again, fine line between conspiracy and reality. But if you would have told me at any point in my career gold beat 3,300 and you don't see it anywhere, no one knows it at all, I'd eat my hat, and here we are. This tells me we're very early, because the only ones buying it, Jay, are the most well-informed traders in the world. The central banks, the sovereign wealth funds, and the commercial banks, they're positioning always ahead of the little guy who here we are at 3,300, hasn't even realized it yet. I was talking to Rick Rule 2 days ago, and again, his view is 0.5%. That's it. That's 0.5% allocation of metals from Joe and Jane Sixpack to the Harvard Endowment Fund across the entire financial matrix. So we're way early in this game, and as usual, the big money is always positioned nicely before the move is made. And it's ironic it's held in a gold revaluation account. Even marking it to market would be smart. And what if another country just marks it to market? Isn't that really what the price is? If all of a sudden, Germany and the head of the Dutch National Bank say, we're going to pay $3,300 for anyone that will sell us their gold. And okay, well, that's what the price is. What if China says that's what the price is, and their Shanghai Metals Exchange starts pricing gold for delivery? We'll buy it at $3,300 an ounce. Isn't that what the price is? Price is what someone's willing to pay for it. Yes, it's valued in dollars right now, but this is the whole problem of the metals exchange, where on the LBMA right now, they have roughly 36 million ounces of gold standing behind 280 million ounces of spot contracts that could stand for delivery. Do you see a problem with this system? And the same thing is similar in gold on COMEX. And so the world is, we're seeing the talk of a BRICS gold exchange. We're already seeing way more volume at the Shanghai Metals Exchange and in Dubai than ever before. But if the BRICS Metals Exchange comes up, it's more so about control than anything, because the West controls the price. When they were building the BRICS grain exchange, the guy that's behind it said, look, we produce and consume more wheat than the West does, but we can't control the price. It's done so on COMEX. But that will change, he said, with the building of the BRICS grain exchange. You don't think they understand that same thing with metals? See, they just have a very slow, monotonous, long game plan where if they threw all their money at it and just drained the exchange like that, it's over and the whole thing would blow up. Like the LBMA is saying we don't have enough trucks to deliver right now and doing it slowly. But so they'll build that exchange, and ultimately price will move there to the not only the people who own the most gold and produce the most gold, but who understand it best. And so maybe that's kind of what this drive is, to repatriate it all and maybe beat them to the punch. I don't know. But I will tell you that in my heart, in my soul, I believe gold will be foundational to a new system, a system that will be about transparency. Like Zoltan Pozsar said, Bretton Woods 3, it'll be about transparency. It'll be a marriage of blockchain and gold. So you have this form of immutability. And it just seems that's where we're moving in every single way, starting with its revaluation to a tier one asset. So that's my position. I believe it in my soul, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not, but I will tell you something bigger is going on with gold than we're being led to believe. It is moving in a manner that I've never seen in 35 years in strength that is defying everything that us in the gold market have ever seen for the last 3 decades, for sure. Well, look, Goldman Sachs is saying 4,500 by the end of the year is a possibility. They were calling for 3,700, as it could get as high as 45. I mean, can you believe you even hearing that with your ears? Well, yeah. I guess we'll have to see. I mean, they think in terms of decades. They think in terms of we think in terms of minutes and seconds. They're thinking in terms of decades. I mean, one way I think of that is their state-sponsored gold program that they've had now running for 4 or 5 years, where this is why you see so many deliveries coming out of the Shanghai Metals Exchange. It's to their own people. And so they have been telling their own people to buy gold and silver for the last 5 years. And through the state-sponsored savings programs that are then delivered right through the Shanghai Metals Exchange, they're now opening it up to their insurance companies to invest, starting with their 5 or 6 biggest insurance companies, investing a very small portion of their assets into precious metals. There's talk of opening it up into other insurance companies, their entire insurance industry. They are slowly not just accumulating gold for themselves, but making it a priority for their people, which would support what you're saying, that they want prosperity for their people. And, that's, I think, something that to me makes a good deal of sense. You're really defined by the strength of your nation as a whole. And if you can enrich your populace. Alistair MacLeod, one of the smartest human beings I've ever met, 3 years ago said that they had 38,000 ounces, not the 3 that they claim they have. And he said that the people had 18,000 metric tons and the state had 20. Well, if that's true, the people alone would have over 3 times what the United States has. That they would have 2.5 times, well, just 2.25 times what the United States supposedly has alone. That's before the state. So, and again, I can't substantiate or verify that, but I can tell you that they have been through this state-sponsored program buying gold continuously for several years now. It makes good deal of sense to me. I mean, I think that it's something that could actually play out quite significantly if all of these things are true and the price is revalued. You've not only enriched the state, but the people themselves too, tremendously. You talk about all of these, all of these ghost cities and this and that. Well, you just completely enrich your people, and well, things change a little bit. And so, yeah, I'd buy it, to be honest with you. From everything I see, it makes good sense to me.